Well, thank you everyone for joining. You've joined the Tech Voices Spotlight series, and I'm Ruani Kumarasinghe, and I'll be your host. And this is organized by Diversity Collective Lanka, or DCLK. And the aim of DCLK is to make the Sri Lanka tech and BPM sector a more diverse one. And we do that through initiatives in the school pillar, the higher education pillar, our career and corporate pillar, and entrepreneurship pillar that helps more women and more diverse groups enter and stay in the IT industry. And this particular series, the Tech Voices Spotlight series, is one where we showcase women across the IT industry and show amazing work that's being done and promote those profiles. And it's also women role models who others can look up to. So today, our Woman of the Month is Chathuri Geekiyanage. So Chathuri is with LSEG. She's a software architect and she's had 20 years experience in the industry. She is an alumni of University of Muratua. She's also the mother of 2 teenagers and she has hobbies of reading and trekking. So we're really delighted to have you here, Chathuri. So to start us off, tell us a little bit about yourself. You said some interesting things about being a software architect, about also enjoying trekking. So over to you. Tell us a bit about you.
Hi, Rini. Thank you for having me today. I'm very delighted to share my experience with you all. I think you gave a pretty good introduction. If I add something more to that, now at home, my husband thinks I'm a poor housewife, which is true. And my 2 teenagers think I'm trying to control their life, which is not true. Maybe a bit of a truth there. I do a bit of controlling because I think they are not in control of their lives. And my friends think I am a very simple person, very easygoing, and with very little regard to material things such as food and clothes, but quite keen on a healthy lifestyle. That is my home front. If I speak about work, I joined MIT soon after the university. Now I'm an architect at LSEG. One might say it's the same company, but I don't agree. MIT was a startup and the challenges we had were different, but LSEG is a really big company with teams working together all over the world. So the challenges and opportunities at LSEG is different to MIT. So I would say I worked and I survived at both ends, as a small company as well as a big company.
Great, thanks, Go on, sorry, I cut you off, go on.
Yeah, I was mentioning, no, you mentioned my hobbies other than reading and trekking, which I'm quite passionate about. I'm helping training, recruiting, and motivating, mentoring young talent in the industry. So I do it as part of my job in the company, as well as I do it as a hobby outside the organization.
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, it looks like you have varying hobbies. And what you ended with the, training, mentoring young people into the industry is such a valuable thing. And that push that young people sometimes need from a senior. So fantastic things that you do. And so with a focus on women, so what, it looks like, you've been able to maintain these multiple facets to your life through your career and you're enjoying it still. So from your perspective, can you say this is a good place for women and why? The tech industry?
Of course it is. If I say it's a good place to be for everyone in the first place, because the industry is expanding. In 2025, the revenue from the IT and related services expected to be doubled. So there would be more job opportunities for everyone. So I would encourage anyone who has a thing for IT to learn IT. So there would be a large range of jobs in the industry. And if we concentrate on women, now IT industry are the pioneers who went out there to implement gender diversity in the industry. I remember when the concept came first to us, we were quite frustrated. We were supposed to increase the female population in the company to 30%, but we are not getting enough CVs. So then we realized in order to increase in order to recruit more, we need more quality CVs. So we went out to the universities and schools encouraging girls to get into the IT industry, and also to train them so that they could face interviews with much more confidence, and so they have the right skill sets that we are looking for. And I'm happy to say now the universities are reaching out to us, asking how we can help. So the trend is there, which is quite good. And another thing I would like to mention is now this is an industry where both men and women can compete on equal terms. So here you are, it's not required for you to be as tall as a man or as strong as a man. All you need is the skill set. You are both men and women are capable of having the skill set that's required and the commitment that is required to bloom in this industry. So, Rovini, I like to add another thing to that, where something we usually don't think about. Now, you start your career as a software engineer, then you rise to the level of a senior software engineer, and then to a lead or architect. So when you go high up in the ladder, the skill set that you need would differ. Now now when you're at a leader position, you would be doing less coding, but you are responsible for what everybody else is doing. So the skill set is different. And you need more skills like multitasking, ability to do several things at the same time, and also seamless switching, ability to switch from one task to the other with a minimum lead time, and also listen to the grievances of the team, unblocking them, problem solving. So if we think about a typical household, who's doing these tasks better? Is it mother or the father? Isn't it the mother who can look after what the kids' homework while cooking, and at the same time keeping an eye on the toddler who's playing with his toys? So I think women has a better chance, given they have the right commitment and the skill set to be successful in the IT industry as a software engineer.
That's an interesting way of looking at it. When when you put it like that, there are so many transferable skills, but sometimes we just don't see it. But that's so true, Chathuri. Mm-hmm. So my next question is: there's a perception in the IT industry that you're expected to work long hours. You won't have a life. And what are your thoughts around that? And maybe some of that might be holding women back. And it's beyond just women, it's a general perception of the industry.
Yes, it's a general perception. But I have a question for you. Are you aware of anyone who's successful in his career and at the same time not working hard?
Yeah, I mean, in those initial years of your life is when your brain is like a sponge. You jump in with all the enthusiasm, and that was my career. I don't know whether it's right or wrong, but I jumped in, and you take on those long hours, and then as you progress in your career, you might rejig that and think, okay, there are some other priorities also, and then balance things out. That was my experience.
Yeah. If you look at now, historically, success and hard work, they go hand in hand. As in any other industry, it's the same in software industry as well. So now when you come out of the university, you are equipped with the theoretical knowledge, you might have done prototypes, but the skills you need and the knowledge you need in the industries is quite different to that. It's not the same when you're building a system where millions of users would be using every day, and where you can't afford more than few seconds a year, a downtime of more than few seconds a year. So it has to be quite robust than a prototype you make in the university. So there's a lot to learn, and the learning takes time, and you need to spend time for that. So for both men and women, I would encourage to spend the early lives of their career where they have plenty of time to spend, because they don't have many other responsibilities. So spend that time to learn the skill. This is especially for girls. Now it is a time you can spend a lot of time in learning and building your career, because you don't have much responsibilities. So once you have built a career for yourself, when you have other responsibilities, you would have a name in the industry, you would have a name in the company, in your team. So you should be able to negotiate better. When you have other responsibilities, you can ask, can I work part-time? Can I work from home? Can I take some more leave so I can attend to my kids? So you are in a better position to negotiate. If you are an important person to your team, you would get that opportunity. So it will be easier for you to manage your life and career at that point.
Yeah, I think that's good advice. So expect there to be a learning curve when you come into the industry, because you might come in with that theoretical. Actually, we see this a lot. So freshers who come in, and it's not necessarily their fault, it's just the way the system is set up. There isn't as much practical, coding or building applications. So they learn that on the job. So there is more of a learning curve, which does mean you might have to dedicate a little bit more, but that is for your career growth. And as you said, that's where you're building trust with your team, with your managers, and that will pay off later in allowing you to, have a more autonomous kind of way of working. And on that front, so in our industry, when things went remote, there was a lot more flexibility to do that. So what are your thoughts around that, and how that might also play a part in helping us be a more diverse workforce?
I think we work hard. It is true. In the IT industry or software industry, we work long hours. Maybe compared to other industries, the number of hours we put in is more. But at the same time, we are the only industry who can work smart. When I say work smart, I mean we can work from home. We can work from anywhere in the world, as long as there's a good internet connectivity. And at the same time, because we need not be there physically in the office all the time, we can have the flexible hours. We can come to office whenever we like. There are some who start early and end early, the early birds, and also those who start late and then work into the late night. So that way, we can choose how we work, where we work. So in that aspect, I think IT industry is more flexible than other industries. Even though you are working hard, you are working long hours, you have the flexibility to choose how you work. This is something which is quite unique to our industry, which I don't see much in other industries.
Okay. And the next question is, somewhat a concerning statistic. We see that there are actually a lot of women now coming into the industry, and it's probably attributed to some good work that has been done by you and others to bring and encourage more people to study technology. However, when they come into industry, they do a few years, and after marriage and having children, we see that number drop off from the industry. So what are your thoughts around some of that? And is that what you are seeing also?
Yes, Rini. Unfortunately, yes. I have seen girls having a blooming career in their early days and then dropping off. Actually, sometimes they don't drop off. They just don't they just get stagnated in their career because they are not taking the responsibilities that they should be taking to go into the next level in their career. This is a common scenario I have seen. If I put some personal experience from my early career, I was in a similar situation. When MIT was taken over by LSEG, there was a huge difference in the company. We got more projects, more opportunities all over the world. So it's a huge jump for a career for somebody. But it was a bad time for me. Bad in the sense I was a young mother with new responsibilities without knowing how I can cope with all this. And when there are new projects, we need new leads to lead those projects. And I was offered the opportunity to lead one of those. And I thought I wasn't ready, and I refused the opportunity, thinking, and that involves that position involved traveling. How can I do that? I won't be able to be there for my kids when they need me. But so somebody else got that opportunity. But that got me thinking. Now the management, they knew, my boss, he knew I cannot put the number of hours somebody else would do, but still they picked me. There must be something in me that they see, something I can do, something that I have the potential to be that lead. And then I thought I had to make a call. If I had either have to drop off from the industry, from my career, and say goodbye and be a full-time mother, or just I have to find a way to manage both, and how I can have a career and a family both at the same time. And when the next opportunity came, I took it, and I started balancing both. It's not an easy act, but I started balancing both so that I can have my career at the same time, having a family and being a mother at home. I never regret that decision. I think it's one of the best decisions I made in my life. It wasn't easy, but believe me, you can make it work.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that personal experience as well. I think that will be really useful to our viewers. So, so life changes. So you might have some kids to deal with as you deal with work as well. So there is more responsibilities on your plate, right? So that's not going to go away. So how can an individual cope or manage? What are some of the strategies that you think, might work?
So actually, I hate it when somebody come on and screen and say, I did that, so why don't you also do the same thing? It will work for you. I think that's not how it works, because we all have unique situations. Your problems will be different to mine. So what I did might not work for you. So there's no silver bullet that's going to solve all our problems. But nevertheless, I think there are certain things we can learn, certain guidance we can take from what others did. So in that context, I'll share some of the things I did, so it might be helpful to you. One of the things I did, I asked help quite loud from everyone. So you can ask help from your partner to take share of the housework and the works of the kid, and also grandparents on both sides, and your friends, and also the fellow moms and fathers. When my kids were in preschool and school, a lot of parents helped me. Sometimes they even covered me during parents meeting when I'm unable to attend. So this type of help, you will be surprised how many people are willing to help you if you just ask. And the other side of the coin, help others as much as possible. So for example, let's say you are going to pick your kid from preschool, and if there's another kid in the same school who's from your neighborhood, you can help that the other parent by picking up that kid. So there are many ways, if you just look into it, how you can help, how you can ask help, get help, as well as help others.
Yeah, that's, I think, a really good tip.
Yeah. Another thing is, it's something which is quite close to us. We call it prioritizing. We do it all the time at work. Now, if you have, say, 10 things to do and you have time only to do 5 things, you would prioritize and delegate the rest. We are quite familiar with these words in office. So you can do the same thing at home, right? It's your family, your kid, yes. But that doesn't mean you have to do everything on your own. You can select what is what has the most importance to you, and then delegate the rest to others who provided there are people who are capable of doing this. So I had delegated some of the work to my partner and grandparents, and also the childcare provider. This childcare provider is something we not very popular with us, probably because our parents, the previous generation, wasn't very keen on that aspect because they had plenty of time compared to us taking care of children. But there are, it's true, there aren't many good childcare facilities in Sri Lanka, unlike other countries, but there are good places. For example, there are sometimes companies offer childcare within their premises, which is rare, but still they do. And there are other good places around Colombo where you can leave your child and have peace of mind while you're at work. So here we should be careful because we are dealing with the safety of our kid. So talk to your friends who have been there before, and do a bit of research on the track record of the childcare provider. So my message is, it is not popular, but it is an option. It is an option for you, which would change your life, which will help you, especially if you don't have grandparents and other domestic help to support you. This is a very good option you can look into while you are building your career.
Really practical tips there, I think, of what you have used. So thanks for sharing that. So that's, what individuals can do. And what can, so you touched on this, what can corporates or workplaces do as well to support people in their, changing responsibilities?
So if you look at the companies, definitely they can help by increasing the gender diversity by forcing themselves to recruit more women, and as we did, going into the improve the pipeline of CVs as a sideline. And at the same time, it's quite important that we recruit women as well as we help them to stay in the industry, stay in their job by helping them. So one of these things could be providing the ability to work part-time, flexible hours, and also the childcare. I know now certain companies, they can have childcare in their premises, but that's the luxury most smaller companies don't have. For example, at LSEG, we have in-house childcare where both of my kids spend their early lives. So which was a lifesaver for me. But the companies who can't do that, what they can do is they can partnership with childcare providers, so they maybe pay part of the childcare fee for the parent, so the parents would find it a financial burden. Actually, we do that for gym. We don't have a gym, but we help to get the gym membership. Similarly, companies can do this for working mothers, not only mothers. If you look at LSEG daycare center, it's mostly the fathers who bring their kids. So I would say childcare it would help both mother and the father. And as women in the industry, as managers, you can prompt the companies to look into these facilities. And for young girls who come to interviews, you can ask the company, do you have flexible works? Do you have working from home? Do you have childcare facilities? They might not have it, but the HR would start thinking, these are the things that the girls are asking these days. If you are to be competitive in the marketplace, now we have to provide this. So historically, it's up to us, up to women to clear our way. So as women in the industry, as well as those who are coming for interviews, we can help by asking these questions.
Yes, I mean, sometimes we forget that we actually have a power with our voice, and even asking the question might prompt thought and take for companies to take action. Really good point there. Now, my next question is, so why is it important for women to stay in the industry, come into the industry and stay in the industry?
I would say financial independence is quite important for anyone. So it's important for a woman because now the situations could change. Now you might have a husband who can provide for you, but things might change. We don't know what future has it in store for us. So if you are really care about your kids, I think both parents should be financially independent so they can take care of them if one of them is unable to. So this is why I would tell my daughter, be financially independent as soon as you can. And the other hand, now when the kids are small, we help, we do everything for them. But at a certain age, we suddenly realize they don't need us anymore. They can do their own stuff. I'm not talking about at the retirement age. I'm talking about when they're about 12, 14 years old, when they are ready to do their things on their own. So it's like you will realize you have less and less work at home, and might think this is now I can think about a career, but at that point it might be a bit late because you have been at home for a long time. You are out of touch with the industry. The technology has moved, and especially in the software industry, it might be difficult to come back. So don't put yourself in that situation. I know a mother in my team who she was going on maternity leave, and she told us, I'll keep in touch. I don't want to be out of touch. I don't want to come to a alien stack of technology when I'm after 4 months. Actually, she did.
Yeah, thanks, Chathuri. And also the other thing that I notice is when we have diverse teams, we actually account for failures within the systems because we're all thinking about it differently. So even, in the output that we produce as teams as well, when we see diversity, gender and other forms of diversity, we actually build a more robust product. And that is also a key thing that technology companies, I think, nowadays are looking at, because it's actually just being smart, thinking about the market, also, validating your own product in-house with those types of users rather than letting it go out and finding those issues in production. Yeah, some really interesting points there. And I definitely agree with you on especially the financial independence. We've seen a lot of issues where, when one breadwinner maybe has an early demise or some unfortunate thing happens, that families really struggle. And so if you have a balance within the family, there's a safety net. And if an unfortunate circumstance should happen, you know, you as a woman can also take up that responsibility and take care of your family and yourself. All right, thanks very much. I think you've given us a lot of food for thought, Chathuri, really interesting points. So thank you very much for joining us today and enlightening us on a lot of things that we might not have known about before, and also sharing your own personal experiences. Thank you so much, Chathuri.
Thank you.
All right, take care.
You too.